So can I just check you can see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so if I start from the top now, this has been recorded. This is a site I'm currently, me and the guys are currently building for Friday, for Katie for Southern Housing Group. And she said it's been okay for me to show you. It's not complete, and it's a proof of concept kind of thing more than anything. What it is, it's secure, web-based. It's hosted in Amazon AWS, backed up in S3 for large file management. So once it's cloud-based, it can then integrate into any workflow anywhere. So it's very versatile and adapt. There's no proprietary software needed. To gain entry from for this page, you can have your own secure login page. Here's one for Wimbledon. Here's one for Abbott's. Here's one for a company called Avida. I don't know what they do. It's something to do with oils and creams. I'm not really sure. We also support SSO, single sign-on, Chris. So if you support the SSO way of engaging with third parties, we can do that. We can also do CXML punch out from ERP CRM systems such as Oracle, SAP, Ariba. Again, it's just needing to know how they come across, and we can manage or not manage users' criteria when they come into the actual software. So as I mentioned, the system has no proprietary software. It's completely web-based, non-browser dependent, and indeed non-platform dependent as well. So it's fully mobile responsive, which you can see there. So it works on tablets and Android iPhones, and as well as PCs and Macs, as you would expect. And what we can do is we can restrict what a user can see and what a user can do based upon profiles. So I'm actually creating this for Katie for Friday this week, and I've given her access to lots of different functionality. So the administrator has a higher level of hierarchy than what a basic user does, and that's worked around what you want to achieve. So all of this very easy, very quick and straightforward in order to put together, and we can brand this. The structure of the site is pretty much there, although we do have an API. So if somebody wants to spend some money and create something completely different, that's absolutely possible in regards to that. The main thing is that we can turn these off. We can manage things like spend per user. And again, it's all completely configurable. We can have different levels of payment based upon what's being contractually helped. We can have different levels of help and so forth. So that's the landscape. Is that all right, Chris, so far?
Yeah, that's fine. Just quickly let you know, just had a message from Erin. She's having some Teams issues, but so she'll be joining any moment after rebooting her laptop. So that's fine.
Oh, we got the recording.
Yeah.
So I've been asked to really address the data side of things first and how we bring data into this. Now, what this isn't a website, and it's not really a web shop. It's an application, and it's an application that will take the production ready optimized files that will go to a printing press or a copier in your own location, or a PDF so you can download. It will create those documents based upon rules-based automation. So the system is, and that's what it's there for. So starting off in a little bit more of the complex area, I'm going to come into this category, marketing items. And these icons I'm creating at the moment, they can be whatever you want. They can be folders, they can be whatever image, whatever color you want. If you need it to look like something you've already got, it's very easy to manage these. But I'm going to go into this category where I've got lots of different example items there. And I've got a different folder there for something else as well. But what I'm really doing is I'm sharing my screen, so my internet's a little bit slow, but I'm just waiting for that to come in. And I can see the product. Now, on a user by user basis, we can change the way users look. I prefer the grid option, but we can go for more of an Amazon eBay-esque type look with imagery if the user wants. It's purely preference, and that can be done for everybody or can be done on a user by user basis. I'm just going to go back to the grid because you can see it's not just print items, it's promotional wear, large format, banners and all that kind of thing. So as I'm scrolling down here, I'm going to show you a particular template here, but as I come down here, I'm talking about data. So what I've got here is I've got a simple product that I want to change by ingestion of data. So it's not a new product. This is quite a legacy one, but I've just got a message there. People are waiting in the lobby. Katie.
Yeah. Erin's here now. Hi,
yeah.
Erin. I'm recording it, Erin. So
So
Okay.
we've got two different kinds of editors. This is a standard editor, which is very low bandwidth, where I can make the changes and I'm updating the document that's actually on screen. What I'm really concentrating on here, I'm going to come on to this in a bit because we can also do a dynamic editor. It's a 2-page item. There's no software needed, and I'm scrolling through. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a call to action there. I'm going to put Chris Bragg. Is it 2 Gs?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I've just typed your name in there, and you can see it's appeared on the item. None of this is particular Flash or Wizzy, but this actually is a template. It's not desktop publishing. When I throw data or throw information at it, the system knows what to do with that. So for example, this is a menu. It could be opening hours. It could be a mail shot to residents about price changes, boiler inspections, whole range of different items it's used for. What I'm going to do here, the system comes with a DAM, but it can also link to your internal DAM, or you could just browse and upload an item. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this Excel spreadsheet, just a standard spreadsheet, and I'm going to select it and bring it in. Now what's happened is it's brought the Excel spreadsheet in, and the template knows where that information goes. Now, just to go into a little bit more detail, I'm going to click on this option here to show a PDF. It's going to open up a locked PDF within the browser. It's going to have a watermark on it. It's got the front part of the actual menu here. But as I scroll down, it's got the reverse. So I manually typed in Chris Bragg. This is a fully production ready. There's no crop or bleed here. That's added as part of the production workflow process to make it more efficient, because that's a variable in itself. And the imagery and the information within the spreadsheet, the system knows where that information, it's already pre-mapped out, and it's worked out that icons can come in here and the pricing is going to come. So with menus and opening hours, quite often they're always created in Excel. We can then bring them in, put them against a template with some approved branding, and then we can create that actual item like so. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So what I've done, this is one to many. So it's one instance where I've taken some data, I've put it against a piece of artwork, not a Word document, and I'm creating multiple versions of that. They can then go to the printer, and it's all optimized for production workflow. So that is one to many. So if I want to go down one to one, I can do that as well. I can go back to the home page. I can go back into marketing. And what I could do is I create something where I can create something where I can attach a spreadsheet, and any one of these items I can just attach the data or a CSV file, and I could do mass personalization of those items. So just to take that a stage further, you see we do lots of different, we do property details, orders of service, we've got various different items here, but we've also got different editors here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this. So maybe I want to again change the item, not utilizing any data, but I want to be able to personalize something that's actually on screen. And again, I'm not using desktop publishing. I'm just editing the artwork on the fly. So what we've got here, Chris, have you still not had your vaccine? Now we do a lot of NHS stuff here. So you can see I'm amending the actual artwork. Now the only color options I've got there are white or yellow. So the branding is being locked down within the system. You know, I've got this text box here that can only move up or down in a certain area. So it is locked. Obviously, Chris, you're not 65. I'm going to compliment you and say you're 25. And I might want to have a different office. So I've got a different hospital. I've got a drop down. We can change the way that this system engages with people. So we have lots of different scenarios. Well, there's 4 different scenarios of how people can use this. So we can set up differently for different users. When I come down here, one of the things that we found is that people really struggle with putting the date in. Date and times, people really struggle. So you click on an area, we can have this next so it goes through and it guides people. But what we can do is we can have a calendar function. I can say we're going to do this on the 5th of August, and I'm going to have that in yellow. So I've emphasized it better down there. What we can also do is change the background. We've got NHS approved colors there, so we can change that to red, like so. So we've amended it. And what I can do is I can click on that as an asset, as an image. I can manipulate that asset, so I can change its opacity. I can resize that asset in different ways. And I can increase that asset like so. It always maintains the aspect ratio of that asset. What I can also do is I can use the library, or I can use something on your network if you've got a digital asset management system. I can go into DE Health Staff. These are approved images. They can be locked down or not locked down. I can upload new images in. I'm going to pick Dr. Jenkins. I'm going to bring that image in, select, and I've just amended that image. I can only move that image so far along the screen, so everything is pre-mapped out. So the user gets to feel that they're manipulating the data, they're manipulating the artwork, they're creating something from, but actually what they're doing is they're doing everything in accordance with the brand guidelines. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does, yeah.
Yeah. So what I can do now is I'm just picking on you because your name's on my screen.
That's fine. That's right.
So what I'm doing, I can save that. I can see a PDF. I can undo it and redo. I can zoom in, and I can order those items. We can put some really strict guidelines around the actual ordering process as well. Actually, what we don't want people just ordering willy-nilly for the sake of it. So we can put some kind of control in here. So this is a second page where actually, Chris, you can just check what you've ordered here, and you can specify what your quantity is. So you can order 25 and it can give you a price, or it can not give you a price. We can turn that on or off. What we can also do is we can make some additional changes to the production process as well, if that product's been allowed to do that. So maybe they want to have some foiling or some finishing and things like that. We can amend. They can also rotate and page flip through multiple page items as well. But I'm just going to add that to basket. So I want to get on and show you something else. So I've added that to my basket here, and I'm just going to go back to the home page. With all of these products, you can make them favorites. You can make them, you can have your own hot list. You can reorder items that you've ordered before. You can submit items into categories. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at something a bit more complicated, again, with lots of different variable data, all the time enforcing your brand. So I'm coming in here. So this is just an example product that we've got. We're using many different ways. So I'm opening up a multi-page brochure. It could be property details, it could be corporate policies, whatever you want. Now I want to make this a bit more personal to you. So I can click on the image. So the pagination is just coming in. This is just how it's been set up. Click on there and I go into the DAM. What I've done in advance of meeting you this morning is I've created a little folder here and taken some assets. These are not your approved assets. They're just assets that an IT guy's gone and got off the internet. So I apologize in advance if I'm using any of the wrong images. But I've got your logo. I can put on here, and I can put some information there. I can change the way. I can put rules on how the text's going to be. So I can put that there. Having a guy who can't type doing this is probably the worst thing. I can change that to an approved color. I can click on this as an image. I can upload a new image to it. For the sake of presentation, I've got some images here. The system will not allow me to use this image I've taken off the internet for two reasons. One, the DPI is not good enough for print quality. The system's read the image. Also, the aspect ratio is incorrect. But what it does, without any software, it allows me to crop that image, and crop that image maintaining the aspect ratio and the DPI. So what I can do is I can move it over, get that image of that little boy in there. I can save that as an image. It doesn't ruin the first image because that's an expensive asset. And what I can do is I can now select that and bring that into the document. I've now got a panel here where I can change the opacity. What I can also do is I can click on here, I can click on there, and I can remove that. I don't work in marketing, so I don't know what your call to action would be. I'm just going to guess it's something like new houses or things like that. But as I scroll through, what I can do is I can say, I can amend the items that are available. So buy a new home. And what I can do, and I can amend this, and I can start making this personalized. So I'm going through, and I can have your approved colors, which I haven't actually got as yet. And I could come to this, and I could say, actually, I'm going to do them more red. I can change that to a red. I can limit this. I can open it out to a full palette, and I can come through, and I could say I want the same red on the inside because that's the red that's on your logo, like that. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine. What I'm kind of product looks great. How does this currently fix the issues that we're experiencing with the
income?
CDP?
Yeah. The income letters, Kelvin, marrying up an Excel spreadsheet of data with the Word letter to the tenant. So you've got a Word letter to the tenant, and they've got this spreadsheet of their bill breakdown that needs merging and uploading and mailing.
Okay, so that's more. Do you remember the Stevenage Council letter? Let me show you a mailer. Let me take you onto a mailer. Yeah, take you off. So what I've got is, I was putting it on here, but I haven't got it on here. Let me just go to a different site. So it's not on. It was on there, and I took it off for another demo. So let me just come through to here and.
Just saying earlier, Erin, the volumes of mailings, it will upload mailings with really high images really quickly, kind of up to 3 million through the system. So the volume will take high volume mailings really quick through the portal without the image slowing it down.
Okay.
So it works. It's very efficient in getting files into production. Quite often, the slow part is the production side. So whatever delays you get, the delays are worse getting the files into production. What I'm doing here is I'm creating a new mail campaign. So I'm creating it. I've got an A5 postcard. It could be a 8-page letter. I've got a letter for Stevenage Council, which is an example item as well, which is a council tax charging sort of thing, which I can also show you. But just start with this. So new home offer, it goes to uppercase. Here I've got the ability to change currency and upload an additional image. I'm not going to just for this demonstration. I'm going to click continue. And this works in many different ways, but this is a simple workflow of this particular product. Where's the data? Where is the data coming from? We can automate that with XML integration into a system. What I'm just going to do here is I'm just going to look at my desktop. I'm looking at my desktop. I've got a folder called support. I've got one called data, and I've got car VDP details. It's 242K. So there's a few files in there, a few names. So I've identified where that information is, and I'm going to upload it. I'm sharing my screen, I'm sharing my camera, and I'm actually taking some information from my PC here, putting it into the cloud so it can be processed into a production-ready file. So there's a little bit of delay because I am sharing my camera, but I've just created 1,056 high-res print jobs. So the delay there is more getting information into the cloud because the processing is backed up on Amazon AWS. So each one of these now is a mail shot, whatever you want them to be. So because this is in a different industry to you, the switch is the model number here. So the type of model. So for example, we've got someone here called Gemma Mitchell. She's looking at the X-Trail. If I click on that as the file, it will open up what that file is. And I'll open it up. So the information has come in. New home offer. It's a Nissan. £489 per month, 4,200 deposit, 3.2% APR. We've got a lovely colour Nissan. Dear Gemma, test drive the Nissan. And we'll leave that open. Come down here. We've got someone looking at the Duke. Let's look at that one. And it's the same template. It's bringing in different data, and that data is bringing in different imagery as well. So we now got the Nissan logo with a silver car, different color font, some different information again. And I'll just do one more, and I'll come down to QX70. I'll click on that. Again, same template, different assets, different information from within the spreadsheet. And it's now the Infinity brand. We've got the different car, and we've got some additional information here. So the three of these items are the same template. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So in order, because I think sort of the specific issue that we've seen or have is obviously comes down to how the letters or the documents get processed through the print job currently. and the collation process and this and that. I think that's what the key issue is. So from our housing management system, how would we sort of generate that document or that output and then bring it into that? Because if we're doing a run of, I don't know, a couple thousand letters, we might be doing a whole thing of rent statements. So there could be thousands of letters, several spreadsheets and things like that for different residents, different customers. So not quite sure how the two products quite knit together at the moment.
Well, and I'm probably in the same boat as you because I don't know what the system is. Is there the system that you're using? What is it? It's a database.
Open housing.
Open housing.
So it's our open housing system, and it uses a combination of Word documents, PDF files to create, and Excel files to create this single letter. But there could be, you might do a run of about 30 different customers, different rent statements, different addresses, 2 people on the same tenancy but different addresses potentially, and things like that. So there's a few sort of nuances that we probably need to work through to understand how it would knit together.
The first thing that's confusing for me is that it's sounding, and I may have interpreted this wrong, and I apologise if I do, but it sounds like you've got multiple sources of data.
So the process gets kicked off in open housing. That then generates the a Word file, which then also has an Excel file that gets embedded in the Word document,
right?
In some respect, so it makes it look like a rent statement in the
okay, so
in the output of the letter.
So the Word document that is created actually has the contents of the Excel spreadsheet put in there.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you have got multiple sources of data to produce one file. That is always going to be a problem. In our experience of doing that, it always ends up, because what you need for a system like this, you need a single source of data. So whether it's CSV or Excel or whatever, we can pretty much accept anything. But we really need, because you get conflict if you've got more than one source of data. So for things like this, and when we work with councils and we do the council tax letters and things like that, it's a single source. It's one item. So if your system can bring that data and create a single file, which probably is going to be XML, or Excel, and we can ingest that, then yeah, we can absolutely support that. And I've got an example. I can go to this housing, the council tax item, and I can show you that. If you're going to have multiple sources of data, so you have the Excel spreadsheet, which is content for the primary data, which is the Word document. Yeah, I've never seen that work at scale. So much so that companies like Green Thumb and Aviva, who we've worked with, what they've done is they've moved to an ERP system that will manage that data centrally to produce the output file.
What I need to do is just I'll have a go back over the process on how it's done. Try and get a couple more sort of clearer examples of it. But I mean, in general, I mean the tool itself that you've got, I think it does look really good. I think it has benefit, and we probably just need to see how it can kind of look to bridge the gap between how we're currently generating the document and having to go through a very manual, laborious process to get it to come out or go out to print how we want it to make it just slicker, really.
Yeah, if your housing system is a true ERP, you'll get a single source data coming out. When you've got multiple source data coming out, oh my god, it's just it is a nightmare. But there's tools where you can combine that data. The problem you've got is you've got a convoluted way to get that single source of data. And these systems, all the web-based systems, they go for one data source.
Yeah, fortunately, it's not a web-based system.
And I totally get that. Which is why the rise of the ERP and the CRM is so strong. So what we do is we take the data in, we load the base files with the assets, we manage the brand, we manage the assets, and then we have the data coming in. I can change this new home offer, so I can change primary data, top level data on the actual item, and then I can ingest data to change it. But what you're explaining to me, my understanding is you've got two separate data sources that have a relationship, and you want to get them into the system.
Yeah, it also gets complicated. I mean, from our perspective, so you generate the rent statement, but you've got two people living in that address, or and it's kind of like you got to send a copy to that one, that's a copy to that one, and get it to change the mailing address as well.
We have done that. We have done that to an extent, probably not exactly the same way. Which the example I can show you. So I'm just going into another storefront where we've got a proof of concept. I wasn't planning on showing you this, I apologize. I'm find it now, so. So what we've got here is we've got that variable recipient. So this is a proof of concept we've created. Kind of electoral roll. You know, the letters we get on a regular basis kind of thing. So let me just change for you. So again, you've got that higher level calendar function, so we can update that. And then what we've got to do is we've got to bring in the address information, and we've got to bring in, so address information comes from one area, and then you've got security code and password going through. And this is a 4-page letter that goes out, and it then is populated by the information. So it's here.
Okay.
And when I continue, it then asks me to bring in data. Now, where you've got multiple addresses, the system above this selects that information. So let me just bring that. Let me just bring that in.
If Erin, where Holly's experiencing slowness with the 10,000 mailings, this would eat it. You know, like a larger mailings, this will go through quicker for
yeah,
you.
really good.
When you've got lots of high res images, that's what I mean. So
So what we've got here, we've got yeah, my internet's scrolling a bit here, but what we've got here is we've now created it. So it's there's a script that runs that filters the address information, so it's variable, and then it populates it. So this is just an image. The background is an image. I amended the address when I went into it. There's a tool that manages the address for multiple occupancy to the present occupier and to where it's a named occupier. And then there's a tool that manages the security code. But all this comes together, so we just get the data. So for us, it's all about having the data. So, you know, the information is coming in here. It's managed before it comes in for us to print the job. So we still get that single source of data.
Okay, cool.
So there's lots of different things that we can do. It's for us, it's about getting it to a level that works for you. But I mean,
sure.
This is a product we developed ourselves, so you know, we've used it quite successfully a number of times. So yeah, but the single source of data, I think, would be the main issue there.
Sure. No, that's fine. What we can do is I'll maybe have a chat with the incomes guys, just maybe get a couple of sample outputs or what we get out of the system, and then maybe see how we can get that to go in and come out the other side.
Yeah, and we'd be more than happy. We'd be more than happy to sort of, you know, put something together, try and see how we would use it. If it doesn't work, there's no point having, you know, the system's not good for that job. So, but because we've developed it ourselves, my team in particular, we're quite happy to look at it. We've got quite a lot of experience in doing this.
Yeah, sure.
So, if there's a way we can help, that's what we do.
if it might solve the problem, yeah, we can only try, can't we, Chris?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Problem.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got some test data, you could send Kelvin, send across to Lynn, or if Erin can send it across to Lynn, and we can run some tests on it.
Sure.
The trick is the data and the actual file. So the file you're creating. So if you're creating the actual product you're creating that is going to go to print, it's that and the data.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to have another conversation, we're more than happy. But the easy way to do this is to have the data and the actual file in InDesign if possible, and then we can work out ways to get that information in.
Perfect. Cool. Okay. Well, I've got to leave it there. I've got to jump onto another call. Thanks for showing that. It looks like it's a potential use case for it, and I'll catch up with Erin and yeah, see what we can get over to you to do a bit more testing with it.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
That's it. It's entirely up to you. Using it as an Amazon